So today, instead of buying a bunch of pre-made 90s, we're going to be measuring and bending these 2-inch conduits into 90-degree angles. We will have two 2-inch conduit runs from the freestanding meter base to the building, as well as a third 2-inch conduit for a future fiber run. And again, inside the building, we are also running a 2-inch conduit to the kitchen subpanel. Trying to figure out the best way to bend this bigger conduit, something to help hold it while I'm heating it up and then molding it into shape. We're also making sure to run some pull string through each of the conduits, tying off the jet line and duct taping the ends. Just measuring and digging out a bit more for the conduit stub outs to sit plumb. About this time I realized I could just use some of our stakes to help hold and bend the conduit. This seemed to work fairly well. Sometimes it's just me out here without the crew, my family, and I find myself thinking a lot about life, especially when doing simple, repetitive tasks like this. Like most people, we try our best to avoid doom scrolling through social media and trying to sort out all the craziness in this world. It can definitely get you down and kill productivity. Our youngest and only son said, and now repeats, "It's good to be informed, just not consumed." Anyway, I think this DIY project will keep us busy and hopefully help us to escape some of the noise. There's our pull string, also known as a jet line, for pulling wires through the conduit, and our heat gun. Again, here's where our power and fiber will stub up through the foundation. I'm just thinking through where the stub outs should all end up in relation to everything else. We want the conduit free and clear from the outside edges of the concrete and the framing. We might just end up surface mounting these panels instead of having them recessed into the wall framing. So we now have all three 2-inch conduits in the ditch leading up to the building. 2 for power and 1 for fiber. And there's a giant wasp in my ditch. Looks like it might be a cicada killer. And similar to the carpenter bees, only the females sting, but I'm not about to try and find out. I really hate wasps. Just dug the ditch out just a little bit further. Got about 2 foot of cover at this point. Two 200 amp feeds. A 400 amp service. Two disconnects on the side. They'll run underground. I've added a bit of backfill to help hold our DIY conduit 90s in place. And I'm trying to keep the conduit about 3.5 inches away from the outside face of the concrete. Our trench is now dug for the 2-inch conduits running to the kitchen subpanel, and a couple 1-inch conduits that we will still need to branch out so they land in their corresponding bay walls. Well, we're making progress. My wife and kids are now back to help out and document everything. And now I'm just bending 90s into these 1-inch conduits as well. We're using 2x4 scrap pieces to hold the 2-inch conduit apart and keep them plumb. Definitely a good idea to wear some gloves. Gloves help protect my hands like an oven mitt. It allows me to shape the hot conduit as it cools. Very few kinks in it. Still learning how to bend the conduit. There are likely better ways to do all this, but it seems to be working well enough. If I did this for a living, I'd look into the PVC heat bending tools. Or most likely, I'd just buy a bunch of pre-made 90s and glue them on to get it done, because time is money. We're under the National Electrical Code, the NEC, which limits the total number of conduit bends to 360 degrees between pull points. It's best to do long conduit sweeps where possible for a better pull and not damaging the wire. And we're going to be running individual wires through this conduit, which are rated for wet locations. And the larger the conduit is, the more options for upgrades in the future. So we can pull more circuits without having to fish cables everywhere. So yeah, having to bury this conduit under the concrete slab takes some extra time on the front end, but I think it's our best option for getting our power distributed around the building, especially with a concrete slab, a cathedral ceiling, and all the 8x8 posts we're going to be framing with. It's getting late, so time to get some dinner, and we'll definitely be back to try and finish up our below slab electrical before we call in our plumbing inspection.